Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the world of Kiyln. Today, I'd like to give you guys a deeper look at aderosia, the monster deterrent substance. This video will be a little different to the past few magical item videos, as it's sort of difficult to condense aderosia's uses into a specific item. Instead, I'll show you one thing that is kind of item adjacent, and later on showcase some buildings related to the substance. What you see me designing now is a shroombug, which is an umbrella term for all manner of insectoid critters that live in aderosia-rich environments. To understand these insects, you have to understand the aderosia fungus, or aderceps as I'm calling it. Aderceps is a species of fungus that uses aderosia in all aspects of its life, including food, reproduction, and self-defense. It is able to burn, an example of the rare organism with very simple life functions, but very high phlogistal capacity. Aderceps can grow around any significant deposit of raw aderosia, including within living organisms who can burn the substance. The shrooms seem to simply materialize spontaneously. This is a phenomenon that has bewildered scholars for years. Some theorize that the spores are simply a form of aderosia, or perhaps that aderceps releases spores into the atmosphere when it burns the substance. Both of these theories have major holes, and no watertight explanation has actually been found yet. Of course, the Empire is much more concerned with the effect and not the cause. The most useful aspect of aderceps is the fungus's ability to purify aderosia that it feeds upon. The fungus consumes the impurities of the substance, putrid-smelling, rotten infection that permeates all raw aderosia. Through consuming this putrid gunk, the aderceps filters it into a form that humans can stand the scent of, making it perfect for protecting towns and cities without inciting mass nausea. Once purified, the aderosia gathers into a small, boba-like red pustule that can be easily plucked from the mushroom in large quantities. In areas with high concentrations of aderosia, normally large underground deposits, aderceps and its variants form a sort of miniature jungle on the surface, an incredibly dense microecosystem, which creates the perfect conditions for all manner of strange organisms. These mushroom forests can show up in any climate or ecosystem, so long as there's an aderosia deposit for them to feed on. They don't cause active harm to pre-existing life, but they do deter all flora and fauna with phlogistal capacity. Cultivated forms of these jungles are a major part of agriculture for all developed civilizations on Kiyln. The shroombug is one of many creatures that live in these micro-jungles. Shroombugs have the phlogistal capacity for aderosia, used primarily as a predator deterrent. Burner predators are kept away through magic, and normal predators are kept away by the potent stench of raw aderosia, but they only use their magic sparingly to avoid becoming infested with aderceps. They are very large, slow-moving, and rotund. They are peaceful creatures, and I wanted them to be charming instead of creepy or unsettling. They munch on leaves, roots, bark, nectar, and berries, and can grow as large as a person's head in adulthood. What is most distinctive about the shroombugs is their reproductive cycle. After laying dozens of eggs, the mother shroombug begins to blaze aderosia, a constant burn that is guaranteed to cause rapid growth of aderceps along its body. The mother stays alive but becomes immobile as her energy is drained by the aderceps. The smaller, faster father shroombugs bring her food and water to keep her alive as the eggs hatch and the vulnerable larvae emerge. There are normally 4 to 6 male shroombugs keeping the nest alive. By the time the larvae have pupated, the mother will be on the verge of death. She is abandoned by her brood and dies soon after. In her death, she spreads the fungal growths and creates a larger safe haven for future generations of shroombugs. A smart traveler might pluck one of these mother shroombugs before she dies, using her as a mobile aderosia producer. You could probably keep one alive for weeks if you take care of it, and the potent aderceps berries generated by the fungus would grant you some level of safety when trekking through dangerous lands. You could easily throw a berry into a campfire, for instance, and it would keep predators away for an entire night. The Holy Gelnian Empire interrupts this video to give special thanks to the loyalists devoted to our cause. We would like to extend our gratitude to one Cryptic Art, the very first individual to donate funds to the expansion and development of our great nation. Loyalists such as these are awarded with 2-week early access to videos, as well as a host of other benefits. If you too want to partake in the golden glory of Gelos, visit coffee.com/noisycricket to pledge your support. Thank you, and remember that Gelos is always watching. There are all manner of extremely dangerous monsters in the world of Kiyln. To protect civilization from such beasts, human settlements use Fume Spires, towers which constantly burn aderosia to keep all non-human creatures with phlogistal capacity far away from cities and townships. They come in all manner of sizes, ranging from simple structures in rural villages to massive feats of engineering protecting large cities. They are a necessity for survival, for enhanced creatures pose an unbeatable threat to most of humanity. The aderosia required to fuel these spires is gathered in large part from the cultivated aderoseps jungles, areas in which people must tolerate the rancid fumes of raw aderosia to collect the potent berries of the aderoseps fungus. These are a very valuable resource for any established civilization, so the Empire goes to great lengths to keep them protected. Fume spires almost always burn aderosia, but it would be relatively simple to slip one of the other phlogistal substances in as well. This would subtly influence the mood of everyone within effective range, manipulating emotion on a massive scale. Of course, the Empire denies any rumors of this ever happening. The spire I'm drawing now is one of 9 great spires protecting the inner Empire. Magnificent structures, 400 to 500 feet tall. Not only do they serve to ward off beasts, but also as both lookout towers and defensible outposts. The loss of a tower is a major issue, so they are very well guarded and always well stocked with aderosia. These 9 towers also serve as major churches of the Archdiocese, each devoted to one of the 9 Mother Hands set of virtues. Each one is unique and beautifully constructed, with stained glass windows and practical ventilation to exhaust any fumes created during sermons. The 9 spires encircle the inner Empire, creating a massive area of land devoid of all monsters. At the center of this ring is the capital city, home of the Emperor, and the base of operations for most of the 9 Mother Hands. Each tower has naturally attracted a surrounding township, and the towns are spaced far enough away from each other to allow for each spire town to develop its own unique identity. The spire towns each line up with major resource deposits required for a successful society, and this interconnected system of commerce plays a big role in the Empire's success. The great Fume spires are not original Gelnian structures. Each one is actually built upon ancient structures from a long-lost civilization. It is speculated that they served the same purpose of deterring monsters in the ancient past. Below each spire is a network of catacomb-like ruins common across Inner Gelani, ruins of that same ancient civilization. Much of this space has been repurposed by the Empire, in this case for storage, but in other areas as the basis for great libraries and scholarly halls. That being said, the Empire has barely scratched the surface of the catacombs' depths, and has been forced to seal off the deeper tunnels for unknown reasons. The Gelnian Empire claims these ruins were simply from a different era of Gelos worshippers, although knowledge of that ruined civilization is incredibly scarce. I'm still working on the design for the Fume spires, and any feedback would be appreciated. Architectural design is something I'm not very familiar with, but I think I was able to get the general vibe across with these sketches. Also, as a side note, the map I've been showing you will likely undergo major changes as time goes on. I'm still figuring out the geography of Kiyln, and it's hard to make a map before I fully understand the relationship of Gelani to its neighbors. So that's aderosia. I know this was a little bit of a weird video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Thank you guys for your support as always. I got all kinds of interesting videos in the works, so stay tuned. Let me know what you think about the shroombug and the Fume spires. You guys always come up with cool ideas for things that I couldn't have thought of on my own, so any suggestions are appreciated. Alright, that's all for today. Farewell, everyone.